The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, that bomb's not going to go off. It seems defective. Anyway, what do we have happening today? We're up 2.5 points on the S&P cash. My thought was that we're going to go tag 2,600 today. It is options expiration week. This is the day that the option market makers pretty much go delta neutral, and that also tends to put in about 80% of the time. Today's low will be the low of the next 7 days. So Dow's up 10. We've got the NASDAQ up 14. We also have, kind of we're almost done with tax selling, probably another week. But my guess is that for the indexes, we may have seen the low of the next 6-8 weeks, 7 weeks, in today. There may, this thing may not get below the 25.85 level. Even if it doesn't go that much higher, my guess is that we're probably not going to see a lot of selling into the end of the year. This is not 2000 with everybody waiting for the cap gains to go from 39% to 25%. This is just, I'm going to pay my taxes next year, and I'm in Apple, can't be any losers in it really to speak of. So I'm going to just sit on my hands and wait till next year. Maybe I'll sell it the first part of next year. Who knows? If I sell it the first part of next year, I don't have to pay taxes till next year. And that's it. Of course, in 2000, you had that huge drop. But historically, Santa coming to Christmas is not that much of a bias higher. It's just a very high probability of a smaller move higher. We need to have something like the tax bill blow up. And so far, this is the most disciplined the Republicans have been in maybe 10 years. Not a lot of dissension out there publicly. No leaked copies of the bill that can be found, although we're probably going to see a little bit of it. People that normally are running around saying that they won't let this pass no matter what. They're going to plant a flag and that's it. Don't see those folks that did that in other things like the Unaffordable Health Care Act. So what else do you have? This looks pretty good. Now, we're going to see both sides, the House and the Senate bill, at some time tomorrow. So we're going to have a little bit of that in volatility. We also, after the bell tomorrow night, have NVIDIA. It's pulled back. We'll take a look at that, look at some other stocks. But for me, man, you're going to need a huge surprise out of one of these. NVIDIA, I think that they can pull it through. I think, tomorrow night, maybe the next few weeks, maybe the top of all time for NVIDIA as competition starts to come in. We'll talk about that competition from Intel and AMD also today. Hopefully we get to that. Just a lot of things going on out here. But at the moment, we're up just a little bit. But my thought is that good chance that they push this up in the next let's say 3 or 4 trading hours at 2,600, and double dog dare the Republicans to screw this up. Double dog dare the Republicans to snatch defeat from victory, from the jaws of victory. Just double dog dare them. Okay, so you got Dow's up 4 points, no big deal. NASDAQ is up 13.5, why it had been down a little bit. But NASDAQ 7,000 probably by the end of the year. S&P 500 2650 maybe. Again, I'm not thinking the market goes ballistic, but probably just a slow plot up as even the very few amount of shorts we have probably give up that short train before the end of the year.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
They've been debating the tax question in that bill in the den here. They've been kind of debating the House one already. It's the Senate one tomorrow, and that Senate one and how that connects up with the House bill is probably the big news for tomorrow. They can try. They can try. Anyway, today in history in 1895, physicist Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen became the first person to observe X-rays, a significant scientific advancement that would ultimately benefit a variety of fields, most of all medicine, by making the invisible visible. His discovery occurred accidentally in his German lab where he was testing whether a cathode rays could pass through glass when he noticed a glow coming from the nearby chemically coated screen. He dubbed the rays that caused this glow X-rays because of their own unknown nature. And of course, he won a Nobel Prize, I think, for this in 1902 because he figured the uses of it, and medicine decided not to patent it. But even back then, they've always adjusted for inflation the Nobel Prize, so it would have been worth about $1.5 million, even back in 1902. Many people didn't know what they were playing with and killed themselves with it, as one of his assistants did. Many other folks, including an assistant to Edison, killed themselves with X-rays. And a lot of people didn't understand it. Even into the 50s, they had fluoroscopes, and people could see their bones in their feet at shoe stores until everybody figured it out that you probably shouldn't be playing with X-rays. And of course, now you go in there and you find you in there getting the X-ray and your doc sitting behind a 5-foot wall of lead and not you. But they've been able to make X-rays much better and the doses lower. But on this day in 1895, everything changed. And you can even say that we started the first steps toward making a television with this kind of technology, but that took some 30 years later. So that's kind of interesting. I brought this up, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when the terrorists out there in California decided to shoot everything up. The FBI is saying it can't access the shooter's encrypted phone. Really? Well, we'll debunk this fairly quickly. Got a few other things to talk about. TWX, the government is saying they have to sell CNN, so it's kind of plunging. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
The FBI is out lying once again, saying that they can't access this weekend's shooter's iPhone. And as we said before, what they're actually saying is that the data just doesn't jump out of the phone and present itself to the FBI. They could really care less whether we get hacked. What they care about is how easy it is to get this data off of it. My guess is that they probably actually do have the data already. They just want to make it easy for everyone to get. We saw this before when they lied with the shooting out there in California. What was it, a year and a half ago now? Said that they couldn't get in, then made up a story about having to spend $1 million to buy the ability to do that from some Israeli company. Come to find out, the $1 million money that they sent to the Israeli company was a contract for literally a ton of stuff, not just this. So they have the bad tendency to have an economy with the truth. If you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. All they can see is what happens if they mess up and there's a shooting incident like this or a terrorist incident. Security, privacy, that's for the other guy. But as we talked about then, if you can take apart the phone, you can get to the operating system, you can reprogram the chips, you can suck the data off of it if it's really that important. And the true answer here shouldn't be that they can't get it off of it. It's this, that it's not as easy as they would like. And they always try to run this jive every time. But as I said before, I told you so. And my guess is in 6 months, we'll find out that these guys pretty much were lying today. Okay, what else is going on out here? Ethereum, we talked about that ad nauseum yesterday. Did you get nauseum? We did ad nauseum about Ethereum yesterday. Of course, right after my show, somebody, quote, accidentally tried something in the programmable part of the blockchain and wiped out 32 million Ethereum coins. Unclear if that's $32 million or 32 million Ethereum coins. No one ever actually said. And these guys are not like you can call them up and ask. But this is where the weakness is, and what I said was a double-edged sword. But probably one of the reasons why Bitcoin ran today is people are probably a little scared about losing 32 million Ethereum coins yesterday. They think that they can fix the problem, but they're going to have to break what they have now to fix the problem and get those back. Who knows what the ramifications are. But as many pilgrims found out, they get the arrows. Yep, that was me. What else do we have? Okay, what else? Okay. Well, that's about it. Let's go ahead and get into some other things going on. Just lately, Time Warner, right after I put that media companies are toxic in the den, this came across the ticker, and that is Time Warner will have to sell CNN and more likely direct satellite TV to get this passed. And Time Warner was down about $5 fairly quick. This is back to this gap up on the 17th of November of 2016. So this thing's been losing ground fairly quickly on this deal. And the reason why is CNN is a huge money loser that they hide underneath this umbrella. But as our friend in Amazon found out, that it may be worth something to have a newspaper or a TV station that you can use to bludgeon anybody that says anything about you that you do not like. That they would have to get rid of CNN is problematic, because then they'll have to show the real books underlying how CNN actually does financially. Whether it's CBS or ABC or NBC, their news stations forever have been huge losers. They went from an hour a day to 30 minutes a day a long time ago because they were such huge losers. And that's going to be problematic, because it really kind of, if they have to sell this, who do they find to buy CNN? Actually having that as a loser, not as big a deal as being able to use it as a club to bludgeon anybody, let's say like presidents or congressmen or people that would vote to do anything that you do not like. Why Amazon bought their newspaper and hired their band of roving, I'll put quotes around this, reporters, to go after anybody they do not like. Disney comes out after the bell, and in my theory and my thesis of media being toxic, this thing's just kind of going sideways here today, but they're out after the bell tomorrow night. They're getting some more flack, and a handful more today of advertisers are talking about backing out of NFL sponsorship. The voices are getting a little bit more shrill this week. We will see, but ratings continue to be down, and they continue to want to ask the same amount for advertising. That may have been changed in the background without anybody saying it, but my guess is that Disney has a lot of problems. They've laid off another ton of ESPN folks, but again, when that tipping point happens, it actually moves fairly quick. Okay, now I had some people come in and want to know about NVIDIA. We'll talk about NVIDIA, Intel, and AMD's deal. I wanted to sit on this a day and think a bit. We'll get to Snap also. Okay. So NVIDIA is down a little bit, $4 today, no big deal. Of course, earnings after the bell tomorrow night too. No sign of selling this. I suspect, though, that we're probably somewhere close to the highs in NVIDIA. NVIDIA did not want to use or get in bed with Intel on its memory technology. So what we've seen here, NVIDIA kind of actually bounced on the AMD Intel stuff. Intel and AMD really didn't move that much. But here's the deal. AMD was supposed to build this new card. Their chief engineer, who's been on vacation for, quote, vacation for a couple of weeks, basically they finally said that, well, really he's not coming back. That's one of the reasons why you're seeing AMD down a little bit. But the whole Intel AMD thing, we'll explore this in the next segment. And you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and we'll talk a little bit more about this.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And if you've listened to this show for a while or subscriber to the Tech Insider, we talked about probably a year and a half ago, the coming changes for memory technology with Intel and Micron. Now, AMD decided to throw all the marbles at making a video card that would outperform NVIDIA, especially for the price. That really didn't happen, although that's what they advertised. That's why this thing kind of really broke back here on the 25th. They didn't make the NVIDIA killer. They still don't have any technology to implement machine learning, although I don't know why they couldn't do it. Maybe there's something in their technology or why they haven't changed it. But here's what Intel is looking at doing. Since NVIDIA has decided to go their own road with some technology for their own memory for the foreseeable future, Intel decided to get together with AMD and tell them how to build a card with their particular memory. When you actually look at video graphics cards, sometimes called GPUs, graphics processing units, what you do find out is that these things are basically limited by how fast the memory is and how wide the bandwidth is to it. 128 bits or 256-bit direct memory paths to this memory. It's all about moving things very quickly and making small computer driven calculations. A lot of times not even more than a hand calculator can do. It's just having maybe a dump truck worth of hand calculators, all that can move at lightning speed for these graphics processor units. They used to call this thing reduced instruction set computing, but by reducing the amount of things that a processor does, you can make it very fast, and that's what these GPUs do. They basically take vectors and multiply them very quickly, and that's why machine learning has worked so well, as they've kind of tied these video graphics cards into doing that, but they have not been specialized. My thought is that NVIDIA will see competition, but non-graphics cards, machine learning devices could be much, much cheaper. That's why I'm thinking eventually, or fairly close to this time scale, we're looking at the competition coming. We talked about it a few times on different shows with Intel and others, and Google. Everybody's got their own competition to what NVIDIA has. But this part is, I think, a way of kind of pushing NVIDIA into adopting the high-speed memory standard instead of trying to come up with their own that they can control. The idea would be for NVIDIA is if they control specialized memory that works much faster, then their product's always going to be different than AMD's, and they can finally shove these guys over to the curb. Intel actually had a big project where they were trying to make their own video graphics devices to compete with NVIDIA. They kind of gave up at some point, unclear why, other than the fact that they weren't very successful. But I would not be surprised to see some kind of thing where maybe AMD sells its graphics units to Intel eventually. I don't know if that would ever pass muster. There's a precedent for Intel and AMD. It goes to Microsoft and Apple. Apple was at the bankruptcy gates in 2002 or 3. I think it was 2003, when Bill Gates wrote a check for $500 million to Apple to invest in them, to keep them afloat, because what would happen without Apple? They'd be the only company, and they were already afraid of antitrust at the time. It's unclear how that will work out with AMD, but we are basically seeing the same kind of lifeline from Intel to AMD that we saw with Microsoft to Apple. And I don't know if that changes much of anything in the very short term, but my guess is in the long term, the memory is so good and so fast that AMD may, in the next version, if they use this new memory, may be able to actually be competitive and outstrip NVIDIA. This may also just be a threat from Intel to force their hand, but my guess is that NVIDIA has said niet, And that's what this is all about. And as far as we know, NVIDIA has no phase change memory technology that would approach Micron's or Intel's. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648, or you can email me at path@tfnn.com. Okay, so let's take a look at some other stocks out here. Snap, of course, a lot of people talking about this one. This is very much like GoPro. Everybody knew this thing had problems when it IPO'd. They ran this thing up to 29 bucks. Everybody on the street shorted the dickens out of it. This stock has had perennially, since it was $26 or $27, about a 50% short interest. It is the most heavily shorted stock. But again, if you could get shares to short it, which I doubt if you can, a lot of people always on top of this. And it's been a long time since we've had bear raids on an entire market or a lot of stocks, but basically this thing popped back up to about 15 bucks after being down in the 11s after hours last night. It's still up above 12 bucks last I looked. But Snap is one of these stocks that's 50% short. And it's, really wasn't the energy on the way, it's not down that much. Tencent, which is a company that invested in Tesla, jumped in and said that they bought a big stake, and that took it from the, whatever it was, 11 bucks after hours late last night, back up to 15 bucks. It's back down to the low 12s. There's going to be a lot of bull bear kind of stuff, but all you really need on this thing to drive it to 30 bucks is one good quarter. And for me, if I was short this thing at 29, I'd be covering today. Somebody wisely in the den said that it's not uncommon to see when everybody turns as bearish as possible, that the smart money buys back and covers their shorts, and that's it. Now, on this stock, you wouldn't have to have many people do it, because 1 out of every 2 shares is short. So just keep an eye on it. Could this thing be, I got an email, could this Snap actually turn into a winning product? It's like Twitter. These guys are doing everything they can to make sure it doesn't make money. But like Facebook, eventually these guys kind of look and go, well, we better make money or they're going to toss us out. Even Zuckerberg thought that he had to get his rear end in gear and start making money. And the question is whether you can turn this around. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The Taz Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the Taz Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Taz Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the Taz Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're looking at Snap out here, and you got huge volume. You went back; they were really trying to drive this thing down to $11.28. The idea behind short sellers is to get the stock below $10. We've talked about this before. Many of the ETFs and hedge funds, a lot of other people say that they won't own stocks below $10 because there is a huge statistical correlation to stocks under $10 that are highly volatile, i.e. $5 one day and $15 the next. You really don't want that in your ETF or in your fund because of the way that the Fed makes you figure out volatility. And if you have high volatility, then you have to cut down your leverage. And the last thing these guys want to do is cut down their leverage. Hedge funds are nothing but massive leverage. And without that leverage, they can't really beat the market extremely. So normally what you'll find out, especially, is that these stocks tend to be a great deal of support comes right in around that $10 level. And as long as it's not under $10 for like 3 months in a row, they're pretty good with it. So they'll bounce it every once in a while to restart the clock on these things below $10. Could this go lower? Yeah, it could. But someone buying a lot of shares, and then let's say that the Tencent who bought these and bought 10% of the outstanding float of Snap, takes those shares out of the margin account side. Now, apparently they just bought those from the article I read last night and this morning. So maybe they haven't had a chance to do that. But what if Tencent gets several other folks to move the shares of Snap out of margin accounts and into non-margin accounts and slowly causes all those shares to be bought back? That is the opposite side of how short squeezes and bear runs on stocks compete against each other. We saw Herbalife, a huge war between everybody. Just because you're short it and the stock stinks doesn't mean it can't go up, especially when you have multiple and super high levels of short interest like you have in stocks like Snap and Tesla. It's not uncommon to see things run for 6 months, and you can easily get rid of a lot of shares in a dog company by running, if you're in it, by executing a short squeeze and having lots of natural buyers screaming to get that out of their short positions. So just keep an eye on that. One of the other big winners out here TTWO, is Take-Two Entertainment. This is one of the few game companies that actually did well this earnings cycle. This thing's got its second big gap, may get a third one. I did look at a lot of the new games that were coming out, which EA and some of the other ones, Activision, were pushing, and they aren't very good. The reviews from the game folk are bad, which means that these guys are at least going to lose a quarter, if not more, out of this. Maybe they clean the games up, but no one's really happy about the current crop of games. These guys seem to be the odd man out, but you've had some huge moves in things like Electronic Arts and Activision, ATVI. This thing, they're still up here. They haven't failed. But this thing tried to run this morning EA and got sold. I would not be surprised to think that we've got a fairly decent high in these game companies. ATVI, same thing. On earnings on this thing, kind of blew off. It's back up today, but there's not a whole lot of volume out here. These companies are still going to be okay because people are still playing their games and upgrading. But I'm not expecting, at least in the next quarter, to see any of these game companies really run much higher out here. They're at the highs, so I wouldn't short them. They can trickle up and get the shorts out of them before the end of the year. But, yeah, they're probably about as fully valued as you would look in this segment. Dr. Doom, no longer allowed on TV because he's a horrible racist. Okay. What else? Oh, people don't know about that? I thought everybody knew about that. Dr. Doom and Gloom. They tossed him off all the financial infotainment shows for a fairly racist email. So what else do we have out here? Question to look at the SMHs. Again, I don't think that there's a whole lot higher in these things, but at the end of the year, I think you're going to have a tough time getting anybody to sell these. Going into NVIDIA tomorrow night, unless it really whiffs, and there's a lot of problems with NVIDIA, I think you're kind of stuck up at these levels probably until the end of the year. Ta-da. I didn't think many people knew him. Don't know Dr. Doom. So anyway, what do we got? That's about it. I don't know if there's a whole lot more to say in this other than these things. Do they go up another % or 2 by the end of the year? That's pretty good. Wouldn't short it. No signals. Even the light volume high out here, but all they got to do is do okay for NVIDIA. I don't think anybody's going to want to sell it either. I don't see anything in this other than it was down $4 today, and they pushed it up higher. But we can keep an eye on that. Question to look at IBB. The biotechs have been kind of the weakest sector out here. My guess is that these things may be the strongest sector at the first part of the year. If they can continue to come down with very light energy and volume. This thing's been bouncing around just above about the mid 310s for a while. There's not a lot out here, not a lot of news that are going to move these before the end of the year. They're off their highs, but for the most part, enough to force a lot of tax selling. Not really, and about the same amount of winners as losers. But these things may have gone sideways long enough to have a fairly decent pattern emerge at the first of the year. Another question about Avago on this whole buyout thing. Let's take a quick look, AVGO. You know, I don't think I would be long of Vago. My guess is that there's a much bigger bid coming for Qualcomm, and when that big bid comes out, Vago probably goes lower, not higher. The question is just when does that happen? But I would be sitting there. It seems rather ordained that they'll have to do that to get Qualcomm to start moving their way. And
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets, right here on TFNN. Wow!
And a question then, what I think of stocks, I don't think anything different than I see in the SMHs, and that is that these are all winning positions. Getting somebody to sell a winning position much after this next week is incredibly difficult to do. There's only one real big hurdle between now and the end of the year for all these semis, and that's NVIDIA tomorrow night. If NVIDIA doesn't whiff, then probably you're going to see a lot of people that have shorted the SOXs and the semis slowly cover throughout the end of the year. And again, I don't think that there's that much upside, and you always have the possibility of a nuke going off or 100 other things that could move the market, but they're all kind of geopolitical kind of things. They're not things that we can see going forward or place a bet based on it, because if you know about it, you probably should call the cops, right? So, we don't have a lot of this VIX action out here. Just kind of looks like it's at the bottom. We've got a tax bill that as far as I can tell, I was probably the most pessimistic person I knew about this bill, even getting to the floor of the House. But it seems like they've kind of gotten their ducks in order. I don't expect a great, huge push on it, but I do think that they're going to get it through, and the market's going to give it at least a, well, what have you done for me lately now? But probably neither a sell nor a buy unless we can see something really nasty come out of this. And there's just not that much that I see now. Normally, we've already seen enough a political brouhaha in one party to think that they were going to shred themselves. We just haven't had this. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking that it gets through. So again, I'm not looking for a huge bounce on it. Just maybe a slow melt up into the end of the year where we have even the few shorts that we have in this market kind of say, yeah, we'll try again next year. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to, we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pezzavento and John Jameson are teaming up for a live hour-long webinar Wednesday, November 15th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time titled The Hidden Secrets Behind Trading and Investing in Cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are some of the most volatile trading markets in the world right now, and this is a webinar that you will not want to miss. In this live 60-minute webinar, John and Larry will discuss a variety of topics, including where cryptocurrencies trade and how to get started, how to recognize supply and demand in cryptocurrencies, and the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and why knowing this one piece of information puts you in the top 1% of cryptocurrency traders, as well as many more topics. Visit the front page of TFNN.com for all the information and to sign up today for Fibonacci 24/7, and we'll see you Wednesday, November 15th for the hidden secrets behind trading and investing in cryptocurrencies.